Hey, welcome to yet another episode of Nadi Digital Economy Malaysia. And with me is my colleague Dzof Azmi. We're going to just jump into the 4 or 5 articles that we find interesting that we want to comment on and provide context and maybe even, when I say comment, it's already our opinion, right? So we're going to give our opinions on some of these stories too, and we don't hold back. So let's start with the first story, which I want to give some credit to the new Minister of Health, Khairi Jamaluddin, but Dzof says, hold on, Karam, don't be too generous with your plaudits or your praise yet. So Dzof, you want to take this story first?
Well, Karam is actually talking about a new COVID dashboard that's been announced by the minister. It's called COVID Now. The website for it is covidnow.moh.gov.my. And it's the new updated COVID dashboard, which looks much, much, much nicer than the old one they used to have. It looks very slick. It looks very professional. And I think what many people will be surprised is it was pretty much done for free. Yes, it was in fact a collaboration between the Ministry of Health and some, shall we say, young Malaysians, who had been working. So what had happened, and if you followed this Nadi Digital Malaysia, you would know that for the last few months, first MOSTI and then Ministry of Health had been releasing data on COVID cases and vaccination in an open format. So anyone could then get access to that data and then analyze the data as they saw fit. And many people went in and built dashboards, and these dashboards would then present this data in a very user-friendly and sometimes interactive way. So one of these groups had done this, and for some reason the MOH had reached out to them, and they had collaborated together to build this website based on the work they had done before. I should give them their names. The one is Henry Lim, who is in charge of the front-end web development. The other one is Callum Lim, who's responsible for design. And then there's Shing Han Lim of vax.techbank.net and Roshan Magan, and they're both responsible for back-end developments. And I think the controversy, and why there should be a controversy when there's a nice new working dashboard out there, the controversy is that they had given their work for free. Because some people on the internet think it's not right that you should charge for nothing something that's good when you can make the government pay for it. And you can tell by that tone of voice, Karam, that I think if you want to do something for your country and you want to do it for free, I think that's fine. That's my personal take on it. I don't know what you feel, Karam.
No. If you want to do it right for free, why not, right? And these are like pressing times also for the government, right? With all those supplementary budgets, right, that were, or you want to call them emergency COVID budgets, right, that were announced to help people out there. So, and this is not something that has cost them a lot of infrastructure costs, right? It's all really brain power and time costs. So if they want to, and they're happy, and they said this is my way to contribute, power to them, right? And power to the ministry for at least acknowledging them also and saying, because there'll be a lot of benefits for them for doing this well also, right? It's not like they won't benefit from a brand wise and maybe even later commercial wise for other things, I think.
Yes, I mean, a bit like I benefit brand wise by appearing on this show with you, Karamjit. Sorry, you reacted a bit slow to that. But the truth is that somewhere underneath all this, I think the real story is that this all happened because the government decided to make that data open. And I think the fact that these two ministries done it, and these are the rewards they're reaping from that initiative, should, I hope, encourage other ministries to make data open as well.
Totally.
Because I think the fear is sometimes, people will take this data and use it against us.
Yes.
And I don't know what to say about that.
So, that's what your fear is. I think we need to open. Data is the new oil. Data is like the new currency of this digital economy. And there's already like global. Some organization is ranking companies globally, right, in their open data. On an open data scale, and Malaysia is like ranked 80 something in the world, right? So can you imagine how unbelievably embarrassing and unacceptable that is? So we really got to push the needle on this. But come, let's move on to the next one, which is so this is kind of interesting, because we've been talking about how the tech giants, and really when talking about tech giants, it's three. It is Microsoft, it is Amazon Web Services, and it is Google. They have not been happy with, and most Malaysians in the tech space are not happy with the reversal of a cabotage policy. I won't explain what it was because you already know. So this is really quickly the rights for these people who own this submarine cable. If there's a need to repair the cable, they want to send a ship that a company that they appoint, right, to repair the ship because they have confidence in the company. But the Malaysian government, which used to allow them to do that, has now reversed that policy to say that, hey, there's a Malaysian company which owns a ship that can do that. And these MNCs are saying, no, they are not good enough for the work we want to get done. We are not happy. And so the Minister of Transport is firmly behind this company. And the backstory is that this company is apparently said to be a political contributor to the MCA. I've asked the owner of this company, which is called OMS Shipping, and he says, I'm apolitical. So let's just leave it at that. But people don't understand why we cannot allow these big companies. You own a product, and if it's a highly specialized product, submarine cables, right, bringing high-speed connectivity. And if it needs to be repaired, why not allow them the permission to bring in a specialized ship, right, to be able to repair this? So they are not happy. And then it was, Wee Ka Siong, who's again the Minister of Transport, is firmly with the company to say that, hey, we want to support local industry, let them build the capabilities, and they have the capabilities, he argues. The big three are saying they don't have the right capabilities. And now with the new minister, prime minister in charge, the three are still want to go back to him. And according to this Reuters report, they are seeking a meeting. So they have not received the meeting to want to bring it up with him to say that, hey, we want to have the freedom to assign, who we think, which company should go and repair our very expensive, product, if there's a need to repair it, or if there's a damage, to even replace it. Where that, I'm just simply saying that Sabri, Ismail Sabri, the current Prime Minister, was in the cabinet before when this was an issue, and I do not see him, changing his mind. Because we're going into an election soon, and MCA represents, the Chinese voters in Malaysia. They claim to, and I don't see him wanting to change. And I'm quite puzzled why they are going back and trying their luck again. With him, because we've already lost out on some cable submarine investments, that have bypassed Malaysia. And
yes.
I think last week, Tencent just announced that they were opening their second data center in Indonesia. And this is the first time Tencent is opening up 2 data centers in one country in 1 year. Actually, exclude China. China is their home country. How many of this? So the fact that these guys are coming back and quickly finish, it seems that they still feel that the good thing is they feel that there is great value for them, to be continually based in Malaysia and to want to pull new cables to the country, which they won't do until this policy is reversed, and it has already cost us some FDI. Nobody has quantified it, but we have already lost, some investment in the country.
Yeah.
Sorry, one more thing. Dzof, one more thing. Why haven't they, because I mentioned this, right? Haven't they brought in Alibaba or Huawei or Tencent Cloud along with them, right, to strengthen their case? So that's kind of puzzling, and it just struck me as I'm talking to you about it. So I'm going to find out why they haven't included these guys in to give them a louder voice. Okay.
I mean, I can ask the people I know in those companies. I don't think they'll give us a comment on it straight away.
Yeah.
But I think the point for me is that it's a story carried by Reuters. It's not something that's going to be ignored by people. Yeah. And I think here's an opportunity, if you want to look at it positively, for the country to demonstrate, where we stand in the world when it comes to cooperating to try to work with these multinational companies. And if you sit there and say, sorry, no, and fold your arms and look away, then that's just not going to look well for us. That's what I think.
Maybe. Okay, come, let's just move on to the next two. And there's a connectivity theme with both of them. Dzof, you want to take the lead here?
Yes. So the first thing is with the Measat's Connect Me Now. So it's Connect Me Now is a service which allows people to gain access to the internet through satellite, and of course Measat satellite. They say that their target is to cover 3,000 sites in Malaysia that then will include 300,000 users. Right now, they're covering around 2,000 sites, which covers 200,000 users. And all these sites are in really remote areas, right? So we have a situation here where the idea is that people in these areas cannot access the internet through fiber or through Streamix. Not that Streamix is now relevant anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so the internet access is pretty much the only one of the few ways they can do this, right? And what I found interesting is that there clearly is a market for it. They clearly are trying to leverage this as a service. I found it interesting that the way it works is that landowners of satellite deployment on the ground are incentivized to host and provide power supply to the equipment. I mean, the fact that power supply is an issue tells you what kind of environment we're talking about. And then they will then are allowed to earn income by selling vouchers for people to access the service. So you can see the commercial aspect behind it. And maybe what surprised me a little bit was that they are says that people can get download speed of up to 30 megabits per second through the satellite service. Upload speeds of 5 megabits per second. Yeah, which sounds good. And then they said, hang on, we're going to roll out this new satellite, this Airbus Eurostar E3000, which then can have ground speeds of up to 100 megabits per second. So we're talking clearly broadband type performance if it can deliver, right?
Yep.
And I think this is the one issue with internet connectivity in Malaysia. For all the data that we have about how many people who own handphones and how many people have access, right? The reality is that if you live in a remote area, it's really hard. It's still really hard. And if things like this become normal, it's good.
Yeah.
Now, the story that pairs together with this, Karam, is Celcom's announcement that they're going to launch 5G by the end of the year, fourth quarter of 2021.
3-month deadline, yeah.
3-month deadline. So they have phase one, which is so phase one of 5G coverage. This is not according to Celcom. This is according to master plan. Will cover Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, and Cyberjaya. But I think what's interesting is that Celcom chief executive officer said that they've done use cases in Langkawi, Petaling Jaya, Sunway. So I don't know whether they're going to expand those sites, right? Because I mean, the idea that you can go Langkawi and get 5G is like, oh, okay, that sounds really interesting.
Yep.
The Minister of Finance also announced that there will be 5G coverage, 80% 5G coverage by the end of 2024. And when I said this to you, you said, Karam, you said, oh, that's according to the master plan, right? So I think maybe this is good that at least everyone's reading from the same script when it comes to the 5G rollout. But I think the critics will say that this is slow compared to some other countries.
We're not in a race anymore, right? You got to do it right, and you got to do it smart. And I'm fine with the pace. I know previously under Gobin, when he was the minister in 2018, 2019, he said we must lead, and he was pushing them. But we are. This is now 2021. We are not in the lead, and it's not like we have suffered. Like people are saying they cannot get work done because our connectivity experience is poor or whatever. So, and no country has lost any investment because they didn't have 5G yet. So there is time to do this. Like I said, it's more important to do it well and do it smart. And I think we are on the path to that. So everyone's looking forward to that. Sorry, Dzof, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think there's a lot of effort now sunsetting the 3G stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's going very well, I think. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
and
move on to,
nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Sorry, shall we move on to where the old economy is now colliding with the new economy, right? So this is a real estate associations in Malaysia are really going after the internet companies which are playing in the property tech space. And they and they say that they call them illegal brokers, right? And they're using technology and innovation as a disguise, as a guise. So really interesting that this has still popped up again. I know some people in the previous association, real estate association. I'm going to make a call to find out what's really driving this, because I don't think in other countries this is happening. Definitely not in Singapore. Whether there are associations in Indonesia or Thailand are doing the same thing, I actually don't know. But it just feels that the reason again, not excuse, that it is promoting illegal brokers just doesn't cut it with me, because everybody knows that in the real estate market in Malaysia, there are very few registered licensed real estate agents or brokers, right? Everyone else is like a sub, it's like a pyramid, right? And they're all like made authorized, without any authority, legal authority, agents, right? So you're like sub agents, and the market has been progressing, smoothly and very well all these decades. Of course, there have been some cases where people have been cheated, but the cases are few and far between, because otherwise all of the market would have corrected itself. People would have said, when you're going to talk about, hey, I want to rent a place, or I want to buy a place, I guarantee you nobody will come and say, hey, wait a minute, bro, remember, use a license, real estate agent, because you're going to get, for sure, cheated, or you're going to get very poor service. Nobody says that. I'm going to say, no, I'm not even going to say hardly anyone. Nobody says that, because cases are very few. So market forces haven't reacted to this being a key issue. So it's very interesting that the association is bringing this up now, and we really got to talk to them and see what's the issue here. Because now you've got it used to be that the Malaysian Institute of Estate Agents was holding the hammer and saying, hey, no. Now you've got the Royal Institution of Surveyors of Malaysia, right? And two other associations also. So it's getting a lot more serious on their part, and there may be something there, but we got to hear it from them. Maybe in our Tech Talk Friday, one of these weeks, we'll bring them on to talk about this issue. So anyway, with that, if you don't have anything to add here, Dzof, go ahead.
Yeah, just to say that this is not the first time that services are being disintermediated. It happened with taxis when My Taxi, which became Grab, came onto the market. So it's just almost like you are seeing history replaying itself. So that's the way it is.
So just quickly, we'll touch on the last story, which is actually the state of Johor is allocating $500,000 ringgit, which is like 120,000 US dollars, for its own e-commerce stimulation, initiative, right? And I think this looks like they are following what the state's government of Selangor has done, where they've had their own, e-bazaars in Selangor, right, to promote SMEs to get on the internet, and you get a financial incentive, and sometimes it's in the form of they call it a voucher. So if somebody is buying something and you can be eligible to get like a 10 ringgit voucher or 20 ringgit voucher, right, to reduce the price of the product, has done spectacularly well in Selangor, helped merchants who previously were not online to go online and to benefit from this. And I know Selangor State Government is going to roll it out again this year. Here you have Johor now doing the same thing with their initiative. We will wait and see. And also, again, this allocation is in the form of discount vouchers. Johor is doing the same thing. Let's see the impact of this. But this program is, and they actually started it last year also. They had a Johor e-marketplace program 1.0 that ended in 31st December. So they are now rolling out another one, and we'll see how it goes, and we'll report back on the impact of this, right? Hopefully more state governments do the same thing. And maybe they are, but we don't know about it. So, but let's say more state governments do the same thing. So and also, by the way, they partnered with Shopee, right? Shopee Mobile. Of course, Shopee is actually based out of Singapore, but they partnered with Shopee. And I know some people will say, why can't they partner with a local company? But I've been hearing this from people saying that in the e-commerce market space in Malaysia, Dzof, it's really Shopee and Amazon here, and everyone else is like underneath the table. So the gap is so big.
Lazada.
Lazada. Sorry, so Shopee and Lazada. So the gap is so big; they're so dominant. And if you want to make an impact and try to do something, you have to partner with these two players. There's almost no choice. But hopefully, some Malaysian is stubborn to say no. I want to challenge them. So we look forward to that, lah. But that's all I have to say. Dzof, you want to have any closing remarks before we end the show?
No, the only thing I want to say about this Johor story is that what will be interesting is that as Malaysia moves to reopening up again after the pandemic, as it were, it'd be interesting to see how it impacts online sales. And my suspicion is that people now see the benefits of doing things online and will continue to do so.
Of course, yeah.
Not a big prediction, but that's what I think.
It's going to carry on like that. People may shift back a bit, but the physical experience is still important. But a lot more people will only do physical when it's important, and when they have the time. If you don't have time, they're not going to do that. But anyway, we are talking about time. We are out of time. But thank you very much for for tuning in and watching the show. And we hope you will comment also, and we will engage with you in the comment section in our YouTube channel. We're going to see you again next week. Take care.